Jewish Channel's Week in Review. Ehud Olmert is acquitted on the majority of corruption charges. An Israeli commission says West Bank settlements are illegal. What it takes to be a Jewish triathlete, and more of the Jewish news that's changing your world right now on this episode of the Week in Review. Hello, and welcome to the Jewish Channel's Week in Review. I'm Rebecca Honig-Friedman, filling in for Stephen I. Weiss. Well, the verdict is in. Former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Olmert was acquitted Tuesday on 2 of 3 corruption-related charges, accusations which led him to resign from office in February 2009. Olmert was acquitted of charges that he illegally accepted hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash from American businessman Morris Talansky, and that he double-billed different non-profit organizations for trips abroad. He was found guilty of a lesser charge of breach of public trust for bestowing political favors on friend and former business partner Uri Messer. Charges were leveled at Olmert while he was serving as prime minister, but the accusations relate to his time as mayor of Jerusalem and then as a government minister from 1993 to 2006. Olmert looked on the verdict as a victory, telling reporters, quote, "There was no corruption, no money received, no use of money, no envelopes of cash. Nothing they tried to accuse me of in the affair was true." Of his conviction on the count of breach of public trust, he said, quote, "I respect the court's decision. I will learn the necessary lessons from this decision. In the courthouse, it was decided that there was a failure to follow proper procedure, not corruption. I did not benefit from anything. This is a note that I respect and will take to heart." Olmert is the first Israeli prime minister to be convicted of a crime and will be sentenced on September 6th. He still faces additional separate charges that he accepted bribes to promote a building project in Jerusalem when he was mayor there. Headlines reporting on the verdict reveal a case study in media bias. With the LA Times, Israeli ex-premier cleared of most corruption charges, the New York Times, Israeli ex-premier cleared of key charges, and the Washington Post's ex-Israeli Prime Minister Olmert cleared in corruption case. Headlines coming from the UK's major news sources give the exact opposite message, with The Guardian's Ehud Olmert convicted in corruption case and the BBC's Olmert convicted by Israeli court. Al Jazeera English reports Israel ex-PM Olmert guilty of breach of trust. Former leader declares victory after court finds him guilty on 1 corruption charge, but acquits him of 2 others. And Israel's mainstream English-language newspapers stress the positive, though even-handedly so, with the Jerusalem Post proclaiming Olmert acquitted of central corruption charges, and Haaretz writing, ex-PM Olmert acquitted on 2 charges of corruption, found guilty of 1. With Olmert and others spinning the verdict as an exoneration, some have called his initial indictment a, quote, desecration of Israeli democracy, and Olmert supporters have called for State Attorney Moshe Lador, who brought the charges, to resign. Lador has so far resisted those calls, defending his decision to pursue the case based on the facts, and noting that Olmert was indeed convicted of a crime. In other Israeli news with contentious political implications, a panel of 3 Israeli judges, including former Supreme Court Justice Edmund Levy, has issued a report finding that Israeli settlements in the West Bank are legal, and that settlement construction there is legal. The Levy report was commissioned by Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, but it is yet to be determined how it will impact Israeli law, if at all. Said Netanyahu, quote, "I will present the report to the committee I created on settlement issues. We will discuss it and we will decide." Not surprisingly, the report has been divisive among Israelis, with those on the right hailing it as a vindication of settlement construction, and those on the left and some legal groups decrying its findings as, quote, outrageous. The international community, too, has been largely critical of the report, with the Obama administration this week expressing its disapproval. A State Department spokesman told reporters, quote, "We do not accept the legitimacy of continued Israeli settlement activity, and we oppose any effort to legalize settlement outposts." He also said of the report that the State Department is, quote, concerned about it, obviously. While left and right will continue to vie over these issues, a competition that took place here in the U.S. this past Sunday was the New York City Triathlon, and TJC had a particular stake in it, as Meredith Gansman reports.
With the 2012 New York City Triathlon only days away, I thought, well, what better time to get training than today? And to do so, I enlisted the help of a very special triathlete, TJC's own Ben Kahn. Ben, do you think I can be ready for the race?
Well, we'll find out today, won't we?
Well, let's get going. 3, 2, 1, bye! Over 3,000 athletes competed in the 12th annual Aquaphor New York City Triathlon. Ben raced on the Jewish Enrichment Center's team. Triathlete Andrew Burke chose to race for another Jewish organization, Shar Sheret.
It helps women that have breast cancer and provides them with community. And I have a personal connection to this. When my mom was diagnosed with breast cancer around 5 years ago, Shar Sheret was very supportive of her and helped her push through it.
And his recommendation for triathletes?
I think you need a lot of heart, you need stamina, and you need to never give up.
Good advice before swimming in the Hudson River, cycling on the West Side Highway, and running through Central Park. And though that may sound daunting, triathlon training coach Jay Borak reassured that this is an accessible sport.
Everybody can play in the water, everybody can pretty much ride a bike, and everybody has the ability to run.
But even for a born athlete like me, a 33.2-mile course made up of a 1,500-meter swim, 40K bike ride, and 10K run is extremely difficult. And what I said before about my athletic prowess, just kidding. Truly, I don't have an athletic bone in my body. But in the spirit of competition, it was time to give training a try. To see how Ben and I help each other prepare for the New York City Triathlon, tune into the full broadcast version of the Week in Review.
Thank you, Meredith. That's all for this week. From all of us here at the Jewish Channel, have a great week.
The Jewish Channel is available on cable, Time Warner Channel 528, IO Optimum Channel 291, RCN Channel 268, Bright House Channel 330, Verizon Fios Channel 900, Cox Cable Channel 1, Frontier Communications, and now on Comcast Cable in the on-demand menu under Premium Channels. For more information, visit tjctv.com.